Here we go. Hi, everyone. Let's see. Happy New Year. Let me spotlight. Here we go. I was like, let me quickly set up in the bedroom. So, hi, everyone. Mhm. So, all right. Hi, wonderful, wonderful holiday. And yeah, and that last night was awesome. Ah, thank you. Yeah, so I can see if I can find the pictures. So I used to have this exact same shelf, but it was in black. And it was right here, same place, and it was black. And this was maybe like 2017, 2018. And yeah, this was a black shelf, and I think I had another here was also a black shelf. And I don't know what got into me, and I was like, I really, really want to see if I can find the same shelves but in white, because I felt like if I painted them, it wasn't going to be the same effect. And so I just kind of kept an eye out on Facebook Marketplace, and there were people that were selling them. So I think this one was like only like 15, $20, and then this one was free, and it was just for pickup. And so I just gave mine of my black shelves away for free, and then got these white ones, same exact shelves, just in white, but it changed the whole room. Like it just made it so much like brighter. And I loved it because we had a lot of like white pots, and I was like, it would just be so much better because like our room is like a cream kind of color. So I was like, I don't know, I feel like the white would be better, and love it. Absolutely love it. Um, and yeah, it's definitely makes it so much brighter in here. So I appreciate that because it's just it just yeah, I don't know, it just makes it look bigger. We have our apartment's not large at all, so it just gives it like a brighter, bigger kind of illusion. So I like it a lot. Um, and yeah, and a bunch of little plants. Oh, hold on. Let me see. He'll probably move. Trigger warning if anyone is scared of insects. It's in a tank. But hold on. She is out right now because she is nocturnal. So I'm not sure if you can see. I have like this little house terrarium here that's like about this big. And so I have my hissing cockroach, but this one is a young one. I have adults, but in the other room in the office. And this one was being sold for food, and I felt really bad. And so I ended up just buying it. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna just set it up in its own tank. And so I made this little terrarium, and I put it on there, and it's currently on the log. Oh, it's running. It's running. Nah, it ran. Never mind. The minute I started to move it, it just ran. Yes, it's a hissing cockroach. So yeah, definitely not, it doesn't look like what you think of when you think of a cockroach. It looks very much like a beetle, but it ran into the log, so you can't, it hid. Um, but yeah, no, I recently was doing some changing up in here. Um, just moving stuff around. We got this really cool fan um that is like an exhaust fan. It goes in both directions. Really love that. I got a second air purifier in here. So our parrots are in here. So hold on, maybe Julia. Hi. She's just been like staring at me as I've been setting up. Hi, you want to say hello? She's very, very talkative. She'll spend all day singing and talking, but then when I ask her to speak, she's like, nah, no. So she's not interested. Um, but yeah, I was doing some stuff in here. I just set up that terrarium this last week because I really wanted to give it a nice little space, and I actually found two more of those terrariums and I ordered them. Yeah, like I'm because I got two new things over this holiday. Um, let me see here. Okay, so it was on Saturday night. Saturday night. So I had contacted. So as you all know, I have dwarf isopod colonies. So if you know as roly polies, but they're dwarves. So they're really really tiny little white roly polies. And I have cultures of them. I have a bunch of colonies. And I'm starting to give them away at this point because they're starting. Oh, sorry. My headphones were trying to connect to my iPad for some reason. So somebody in my area was actually selling another species of I don't know why it keeps saying it's connecting to my iPod. iPad, sorry. Um, but somebody was selling a isopod that I really, really wanted. So I contacted them and he was so nice. He gave me extra at no extra cost. And then he said, "Hey, would you like this other species of isopod called powdered orange, which is also on my wish list?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm happy to pay you more for them." And he's like, "Nah, he has so many." So I ended up getting a bunch of isopods on Saturday. He came to drop them off, super, super excited. So, oh yeah, sorry, Rosemary. Yeah, I don't know. Out of nowhere, it just said connecting to iPad, disconnected from iPad, connecting to iPad. I'm not doing anything, so I have no idea why it decided to do that. So sorry about that the voice went out. Um, but I have, so I'm going to be setting these up. So these are great for bioactive enclosures. Now, um, whoops, here we go. They're so big. So I did not realize how big dairy cow isopods are. They're called dairy cows, like moo, dairy cows, because they are spotted. They're white and spotted, but they're also like really big. Look at these beauties. So isopods are not bugs, they're not insects, they're actually crustaceans. So they're related to crabs and lobsters. Um, they're super cool. They are huge. I did not realize how big they were going to be. Um, I'm so used to, I mean, I've seen pill bugs, of course, but I'm so used to the last couple years just raising dwarf isopods. So they're tiny. They're like the size of an ant, like a little ant. So kind of seeing a big isopod like this, it definitely it's like whoa. Um, but they're beautiful, and so they have a white base and they have spots like little cows. And this guy gave me a huge colony. So I'm gonna be setting them up in a bigger thing, of course, but uh yeah, he gave look at them. Look how many. And so these are really expensive. So usually it's about like $30 for maybe like 10 of them. And this is what he gave me for $30. So there has to be 100 in here. So they're hiding under the soil. There has to be 100. So I'm gonna set up like maybe 2 to 3 separate colonies at this point because there are so many. What do I feed them? So they eat well they're decomposers. So I can feed them I feed like my other isopods. I give them like small pieces of vegetables, also fish flakes, turtle food, freeze-dried vegetables. So they'll eat anything, but you do have to keep a steady supply of fallen leaves. So oh, look how many. I just lifted up the leaf and they're, look, oh, holy moly, look at that. There's so many. Um, they're so beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. They make really fun pets because they're super docile. The only caveat with this species, though, with the dairy cows, is as you can see, they get very large and they're very good at their decomposing job to the point that they can get a little nippy if you have tanks with very small animals. So let's say you have a tiny frog in a tank, or you have geckos. They will actually nibble on them. So you don't want to put them with any small animals. You would only want to put them with a large animal if you have a big bioactive tank. So I'm not putting this with my frogs and I'm not putting this with my geckos. So I think I'm just setting up tanks where they live by themselves, basically. I'm not going to put them with other animals. Um, but they are super, super, super neat. Uh, very excited. There's so many different stages here. There are babies, there are adults. I'm very excited. I did not expect that, so that was a big surprise for me. But I love isopods, and so for those who don't know, so isopods are part of a cleanup crew. So we have bioactive tanks, which means they are tanks for our animals that are meant to mimic the ecosystem. So you need to fill the roles in the ecosystem. So you have the primary animal, and so it's either like a frog in one tank. We have another tank with 2 yellow-headed geckos. We have another tank with a leopard gecko. We have a tarantula as well, that has her own bioactive tank. And so they produce waste, right? And so what we do is you set up there's like a drainage layer, and then there's depending on how humid they need it, there is a little bit of sphagnum moss in some of the mixes, then different types of substrate mixes in there. And so you kind of keep, so we add water, we give it a quick mist every day. Um, and yeah, then you add the cleanup crew. So we all of our tanks have some wood mites in there because there's pieces of wood that's decomposing. So there's wood mites. There are dwarf isopods. There are springtails in there. Um, and I also have what are called dubia roaches, which are also kind of look like beetles. Um, and so they're raised for food for pets. And so when they're babies, they're super small and they make really good cleanup crew, and our pets could eat them. So I add a couple in every tank. And not only do they clean up, so even as like the frog goes to the bathroom, all of these little critters eat it and break it down. So your tanks are always like taking care of themselves. It's really neat. You don't get mold, you don't get fungus gnats, because there's a whole ecosystem and they're taking care of it. Yes, Julia? Um, but yeah, it's super neat. So I love this type of stuff. So I was very, very excited to get all of these as a surprise. Like I really did not expect to get this many. I thought I was gonna get like a handful and have to start a colony from scratch, but this seller was great and gave me so many and in so many different stages. So I am definitely ahead. I'll be able to set up at least like 3 separate colonies. So super excited about that. And then he threw this in for free, which were the powdered oranges. So these are more softer bodied, much smaller, and these are safe to put with pets. So I did put them in some of my tanks already. They're called powder oranges, and they're this really pretty, the sun, this really pretty orange color. And as you can see, they're really fast. So they're much faster than the dairy cows. So these also, there are so many, also in different stages. So I might break this up into two separate colonies. Um, but they're super cool. You can actually see their eyes. They're very, very cool. So, oh, I'm probably scaring the daylights out of them. Um, but they're usually nocturnal. So yeah, this is a lot of activity for them during the daytime. But there isn't much substrate in here, so I ordered two more of those. So I want to set up one for the powder oranges, one for the dairy cows, and then the rest of them will go into different setups. Um, but I might put some more leaves and stuff in there today so that they have a little bit more hiding spots, so they don't get stressed out or anything. But yeah, so super super excited. I really really love isopods. And so I'm happy to be growing my collection. Um, oh, this too. So if any of you have a Five Below, I put it near me so that I could show you. Five Below is selling these plushies that are cactuses. So these the cacti, they're yeah, they're not sharp, but they do feel a little rough, but they're super cute. Oh, now Holly says I'm sorry that I kill any bugs that get on me. Yeah. No, I mean these are super awesome, and yeah, and they're not bugs. They're little crustaceans. And so people see them in their bathrooms. They are attracted. They need to stay like in a humid area. So isopods will die if they get dried out. So that's a big thing, that if you have a bioactive setup, it has to stay, you have to keep the humidity up a certain amount. Um, but I mean, you don't have to be crazy about it. It really depends on how hot the enclosure is. So for my dwarf isopod cultures, I only really give them attention like every Saturday. So every Saturday I go, I feed them, I top them off with fresh leaves that I order. I order like a pesticide free leaf litter for bioactive terrariums. Um, and I top them off with leaves, I give them some food, and then I use the squirt bottle, and I kind of go all along the perimeter so that I can soak the substrate a little bit. Not enough, they will drown. So you don't want to put too much water. So it's just enough to moisten it a little bit, and then that's it, and you can leave them alone. Now with if you have like reptile or amphibian tanks, then you do have like lights, and so it dries out a little faster. So those you do have to pay attention every couple days. But yeah, but they're great. I really like isopods. I hope I can change people's minds about them because they are very very interesting. Um, and yeah, and I mean, I love with the powder oranges, I've already added them. I added them to the yellow-headed gecko tank, and I added them to our frog tank. But I haven't added them to the leopard gecko tank or the tarantula tank yet. So I will be adding them. Um, but yeah, they're so cool. They're so cool. So I'm excited to have them set up. Um, and yes, this was I just wanted to show you this because it's super cute and $5. So I had to get it. I saw it and I said, Brian, it's a cactus. I was like, I have to. It's just necessary. It's necessary to get it. I don't think it's a squish as a it's definitely not maybe it's a what is it, an off-brand squishmallow? I don't think it's yeah, no, it's not like a true squishmallow. So I think it's one of those like off-brand squishmallows. But I just thought it was so cute. I was like, I'm Brian, I'm sorry, I'm getting it. I also grabbed one of these and it's actually really super bright. I turned it on yesterday just to see. Um, oops, here we go. So also $5. And so basically it's a grow light. And so you set it up and it has a USB connector. It looks like a tomato cactus. Yeah, it totally does. Holly. Yeah, I definitely, yes, other people do definitely see them as pests. But, you know, isopods, they really aren't. Again, I do hope to change people's minds about them, but they have a job and they're decomposers. So that's what they're trying to do in our bathrooms. It's very high humidity in there. They'll eat fallen hair, fallen skin cells. If unfortunately, if you have any mold or stuff, especially if you have like wood furniture or stuff, yeah, they'll be munching on anything that's decaying. So they're just doing their jobs. But yeah, no, they're super cool. I'm trying to see if I have a I don't think I have the outlet here, but this is the setup. This is from not Dollar Tree, Five Below. So Five Below, and it's super bright. It has like that purple light color to it. I'm trying to see. I don't think no, that's not. I don't think I have a USB connection over here. Yeah, I don't think I do. But it is super bright. Like when I turned it on, I was like, holy moly. So it is super bright. I'm gonna play around with it and see. I'll put something and see how it does. So we'll see. We'll see. I when I was doing my cleanup, I had a bunch of cuttings. Um, there was like some casualties, so like some pieces of like jade and there were some pieces even of my Christmas cactus, but it is getting, you can see it's getting some roots in there. So I don't know, I'm gonna set these up and and see what happens. Um but yeah, this it has a lot of power in this little thing for $5. So I was like, well, I'm gonna try it. Um Definitely want to see if it'll do anything. Let's see. What other fun things can I show you in here? Oh, Holly says plenty of fallen hair. Oh, rosemary. Oh, these I got these I think on Wish a couple years ago, but there's I think they're still on there for $1. So I got these for $1 and they're wood. So they're not plastic, they're actually wood. Um I love them. I love them. But yeah, $1 on Wish. I've gotten a lot of like my flower earrings from Wish, and I've gotten some from Etsy, the more like stylized ones. Um that are like I have some that are like ceramic that were actually clay, like clay flower ones that I have, and I have some that are painted. Um, and some like pressed flowers and things. Those I got all from Etsy. But all of these, like if there's some wood ones and like basically like all the plastic ones are all from Wish. Because I see some really cool ones and I grab them, and especially if they're $1, I'm like, oh my God. I end up very quickly spending like $20 um getting getting a bunch of plant earrings. And Brian actually got me this shirt, and it says El Plant Daddy. And yeah, and it's a yeah, he's holding an oxalis, and he has like the monstera and the sansevieria, the snake plant behind him. And I was like, this is great. This is great. Um I think he also got me a shirt that I wore yesterday, that has a skeleton in like a bed of flowers, and it says recycle. I was like, this is great. So I wore it for New Year's for the for that. I was like, this is great. Um, but yeah, this is that was a couple. Yeah, those were some fun things that we came across. And then got I'm like, I think the most excited I'm definitely is about the isopods. Can I help you? What are you doing? Are you going crazy, Tilly? I think Tilly is going crazy. We have a miniature parrot. Hold on. Let me see if how she'll react when if I bring up the laptop. Dun, 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 dun. Tilly. So that's Tillandsia. Oh, here you go. You can see her. Maybe you can hear her. Oh, now she's quiet. Now she's silent. But you can see her. She's like hiding behind these toys here. Let's see. Tilly. But I named her Tillandsia, and we call her Tilly for short. Um, and she is, I think it's the second or third smallest species of parrot in the world. And so they're about this big, and they don't get any bigger. Um, and she's been with us for a few months now. She was very, very nervous when we first got her. She's gotten so much better. I can put my hand in and, and fix up her cage, give her food and water, and she's much more keen to stay there. She was kind of like zipping. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Holly. Yes, Tilly. Tilly is who we got a few months ago. Um, and so she's been great. So it's very important that she like sees us and stuff. And so we decided to put her in here in the same room with Julia. So she can also see that Julia comes with us. So we take out Julia, we interact with her, and Tilly gets very interested. She gets very, very interested in what we're doing with Julia because she's like watching as we're playing with Julia. We're giving her kisses, and Julia dances and stuff. So we'll put music and she'll be dancing. And so Tilly comes right up to the bars of the cage and is like watching. But she won't perch for us yet, so she still needs a little bit more time. She's only about 6 months old, um so she's still kind of making us out. But she definitely has a lot more trust than she had initially. She was terrified of us. So she's great though. She'll sing in the mornings and stuff. And yeah, and so we named her Tillandsia after air plants. So if anyone has any air plants, those are Tillandsia. and she's just this really cute shade of green, and she's so tiny. And I said it just reminds me of like a little air plant. And so I had to name her Talansia, and then I was like Tilly for short, and there you go. Um, but yeah, she's awesome. Julia doesn't know what to make of her. Julia kind of just watches her. Um, but I think Julia was getting a little jealous of her. But so I don't know if they would ever like meet, like bird to bird, you know. I don't know if Julia would appreciate her. She just kind of like was like, like, but she's yeah. Julia's awesome. Julia likes to help also when I'm doing plant chores. So if I'm um just cleaning up, watering, she'll be on my shoulder, or she'll kind of walk over to investigate, and she'll like get on. We have a little stand that has wheels for her, and so she'll like climb up on there and then just watch me as I'm doing stuff. um it totally is a little ecosystem. Yes, it totally is. And I mean, in our bedroom, we mostly have a lot of cacti, so they would be fine with us for a while. So a lot of cacti and a lot of succulents. Um, like we have some Apuntia. Um, we have a couple jades, so those are chryssulas. I have a few of these actually. The monstrose types of cacti, so they're like the mutated type. I literally have like a bunch. I have here, I have them here, I have more over there. I have a lot of these because I really I love monstrose type of cacti. So I do have quite a few. This guy I love. I bought this for $10. And it was there were two, so it was this is one. So this is a Sansevieria. This is a snake plant, cylindrica. So they're very thick, very, very thick leaves, and they all come out from, they're all connected like a fan. And so it came with two of them, and I was like, $10, hell yeah, grab that. And it has since given me this baby. Here we go. It has since given me this baby, and it's starting from here. So I think once it starts to try to spread, I might end up having to upgrade this because this is going to have a tough time because these two are very much taking up a lot of the real estate. Um, but yeah, and it's right here. This is a southeast window, so we get a lot of nice morning light. Um, yeah, these guys are have like some big philodendrons. Um, I have that big, there you go, that big philodendron. That's a mottled dragon. This cubby is kind of like for supplies. I need to fix that up, but right now that's kind of like supplies. Same on here. There's a couple. My Jatropha, Maple tipped it over. And so I have it in here kind of rehabbing for the time being. Um, because yeah, I was like, I need to put it in a safe place for it to just heal because it's the second time he's dropped it. So I was like, all right, it's not safe in the living room anymore, and I really like it. So I was like, I'm gonna bring it in here. Um, this has been like a no cat zone for a little bit now. Um, and so we're like, all right, because especially because of Tilly, so they are definitely interested in Tilly. Our cats love Julia. Like they will sit with Julia, but Julia's a big bird. Like, she's a big bird. She can defend herself. And so she'll hang out with the cats. She even goes up to them and meows. She'll run up to our cats and meow. But Tilly is a little thing. So that's a whole other story. So we didn't want to stress her out, so we've had this as kind of like a cat free zone. And so this is also good if there are some trouble plants, because then they can just be on their own. And in here too, I also have fake plants because I have my this is a Lego that I built, that is the bird of paradise. This was such a fun one to build. I love Lego. I build a lot of Lego. And so when they came out with plants, yeah, I had to. So I think this one was so fun. I have the orchid, um, got this bird of paradise. I have like the bouquets. I've gotten the succulents. They just released a new succulent set that I need to get. Um, yeah. Oh, and some of our fish. You can see some of our fish in there that produce our water for our plants. So the fish produce what they get water changes, and so it depends. It can be every week or every 2 weeks, depending um, how messy they're being. Goldfish are very messy fish. They are very messy fish. They have very large appetites and very fast metabolism. So it really depends on what their levels are looking like, and the how clear the water is. And so we'll do the water change, and then all that water ends up being used to water our plants, and it's great fertilizer, a very gentle fertilizer. That is Tilly. I'm so glad that she was chirping. She was like silent. Hi. But yeah, and so the fish tank water is what I think has been so helpful and instrumental to let us kind of grow our collection a lot more. Because it's just great. Julia's playing with a toy, so if you hear smashing, she's taking a toy, just like smashing it around. Um, oh, Jen, I'm glad you think so. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to. I'll set up in the bedroom today. Yes, Julia. Um, but yeah, they. Oh, I we actually set these up. That was silly again. We set these up over the grate. Whoops, my stand fell. Hold on 1 second. There we go. I was picking this up. Um, so we have some Monstera cuttings, and I have them in water, but uh, I really wanted to kind of put them like higher, and so I found these really beautiful black macrame. And so I hung them up like this, because I have this really cool metal plant, tree type of artwork. And so I we had these two hangers here, and so now there's two. And these are plastic, so they're very lightweight in comparison, so they're not glass. And yeah, and then we can observe them, we can see the roots. Um, and yeah, like a fun little setup there. Oh, and we have these are fun shelves that I made a couple years ago. So these were some leftover wood that I found, and I sanded it, painted it. And then what I did is I put these little oh, here, maybe this is better to see. Um Here, these little holders, so these slide right in and out. So they're not bolted into the window. I mean, there's no fire escape here. But if there was an emergency, I could literally just pull this out. I literally can very just lightly pull it out, and if I needed rescuing out of this window. So I did not like create no escape out of that window, but I did create some shelf space for extra plants. But if there was in an event of an emergency, I could just yank it, and it comes apart very easily. like not even 2 seconds. I have to be careful when I'm watering the plants that I don't accidentally do that and then drop all my plants. I have done that before. Um, so yeah, I wanted to make it easy but usable. Um, so I set that up a few years ago, and I love it. I love it so much, and I'm able to put my plants up there. Um, I've definitely made a lot of the uh upgrades like this to take the to take get have better use of the space of the real estate. Oh, Suzanne says, how do you get any sleep with all the pet noises in your bedroom? The only pet noises, well, the fish, we hear like the hum of the filter, but it's very low. And I usually run like an air purifier. We have a fan with all the plants. So I'm used to like that hum, so that's totally fine. And the birds, like as soon as it gets dark, they're silent. Um, so it's really they make some noises during the day, but then as soon as it starts to get dark, the birds kind of go down for the night. So they hush. They're not like in a playing mood or um or in a singing mood or anything. Julia, during the day, she really will go to town. So she'll be singing opera. Julia sings opera. She does runs like Ariana Grande, like she'll we put a lot of like pop for her because we have a Google Home in here, and so we'll play happy music or um play pop or something like that, or even classical. We'll put something during the day, so if we're not in the room, she has some music or something, to interact with. So she'll hear like Ariana singing and she'll start to sing, and it's really hilarious. But she does opera too, because our neighbor, so Julia's been with us since 2015. Um, and our neighbor is an opera teacher. She teaches opera singers, and so we always hear opera. And so um, Julia has been mimicking her for years, and she even mimics our neighbor's dog. So our neighbor has a Yorkie, a 13-year-old Yorkie, and Julia likes to copy Jacko. His name is Jacko, and she loves to copy him. So whenever he starts barking, if one of her students comes over, he's one of those that only barks like when people open the door, and she'll start to copy him. Yeah. Rosemary, do you wake up at the crack of dawn? Oh, absolutely not. I am not a big like early morning person. No, no. And thankfully the birds are pretty quiet until they realize that you're awake. So once you open your eyes and you sit up in bed, or you start looking at your phone, or if you start talking to one another, like Brian and I, like we're talking to one another, they know like, oh, they're awake, and then they immediately will start to make noise and sing, and Julia will say really funny things. Julia says peekaboo. Gosh, she says, how are you doing? She says, what are you doing? She also makes kissing sounds. So in the morning, if I give Brian a peck, she immediately, um, yeah, she she makes kissing sounds. It's very funny. Even if Brian gives me a hug, she makes kissing sounds. It's very, very funny. She is just she's a hoot. She's great. Um, yeah, she is so much fun. She really is. Um, oh, Jackie, yes, yeah, I'm still doing consults, not as much because I've been pretty swamped. But yeah, yeah, I was actually telling Brian I need to start making them available again on the website, because I was doing a lot of consults for like repeat clients, but I wasn't taking new clients for a while. Um, and so yes, I am opening up my books again. Yes, so you can absolutely, if you're interested or if you want to recommend me to someone, like let me know. I'll send you the info. Holly, the fish eat bugs and the birds eat bugs and the bugs eat rotten plant garbage and then the cats eat meat. Add water, air, stir. Yeah. Yes, the what's great is yeah, like with it again, it's like an ecosystem. So the water, it doesn't get wasted for our fish because it ends up being used by our plants. Um, and then yes, and then with our plants, I don't use any actual like pesticides on these. So yeah, if there's any like fallen leaves or anything like that, I put that in with our tanks. Are you all right? She's swinging. Hold on. Yeah, she was swinging upside down. Are you all right there? Yeah, I've tried. I used to teach with her like next to me or she would climb up on my shoulder, but she has a habit of going after my headphones. She loves like ripping my headphones. And then when I got the AirPods, I thought, okay, maybe nope. She would take the AirPod right out. Um, so so yeah, so she stays in her cage during the morning time, and if I'm teaching or if I'm doing like a Zoom call, and then I let her out. She has her stand. Um, she has her stand. She had another stand on top of here too, but we wanted to put Tilly in there, and so she still has her stand there, and so she'll hang out and do puzzles. I don't know if you can see. Oh, there we go. This acrylic thing that you see here, this is a puzzle. And so if you add nuts, like she loves walnuts and she likes is it almonds, but when they're still in the shell. And so you put them and then you lock it, and then she goes around and she takes the lock out, and then the snack basically falls kind of like a gumball, it's like doo 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 doo, and falls down the maze. And then she goes to the bottom and collects it. So she loves it. And she's hilarious because she'll be eating a snack, and if I go to fill up the maze, the little toy for her, she drops her snack because she wants to do the puzzle to get that treat. It's the same treat. It'll be the same thing, and she loves the challenge. So it's very important. You have to stimulate them. You have to enrich them. Um, and so engaging with her, we put music, take her out, interact with her. She interacts with other animals. So she needs that stimulus. Like, birds get depressed if you didn't know that. Birds get depressed. So she is definitely we like to spoil her and give her things to do and she loves that. Oh, Holly says that my Costa Rican heritage makes me relax with nature and tropical sounds. Yeah, yeah, totally. Oh yeah, no, oh yeah. Holly says roosters and chickens would destroy the peace. Oh yeah. Yeah, in the our I have family in the Bronx. My father's side is Dominican, is from Dominican Republic. My mom is from Costa Rica. And my dad's side of the family, they live in the Bronx, here in New York City. That's where they've been since my grandfather and my grandmother came over. And so they for many years, like my entire childhood into my teenage years, they raised chickens, and it was so common for people in the Bronx to have chickens. And that's I'm like we were born and raised, my siblings and I were born and raised in Queens, New York City. So we didn't see chickens here. But in the Bronx, like all the Caribbean folks had had chickens in their yards. And whenever we would go and stay over and sleep over, you would just wake up at dawn because the roosters would start. And I one of one of my childhood memories. I was like 12, 11 maybe. And I just remember my uncle had two roosters, and one, it's like it would still be dark. Like the sun wasn't even like really out yet. And that rooster would start, and he they would raise them for eating. So they weren't pets. They were raising them for eating. Um, and I still remember hearing the rooster, and it was doing its morning call, and it's so messed up. This was at the time, this was very traumatizing. Now I look back and I can appreciate like the dark humor of it. But the the poor thing was just singing, and then it just went silent. And then it turned out that my uncle killed it. And then they I would never eat them whenever they would be preparing the chickens. I couldn't do it because I would hang out in the yard and I knew them. So I couldn't eat them because I knew the chickens, and we would name, me and my cousins, we would give them names, and so we wouldn't be able to eat them. All the kids would just forego chicken. We just have like rice and beans, because we just wouldn't eat when they were preparing the chickens from the yard. But I always remember that poor rooster. It was the last straw, and my uncle was like, "Yep, that's enough. That's enough." That was that was so messed up. Oh man. Oh, Rosemary, oh, you have a cockatiel. Oh man. Yeah, we had a cockatiel for a really long time. She was with us. Well, she was with me since I had graduated high school. She was with us for a very long time, and so she passed away, I think now it's like 2 years. So yeah, they're great. They really are. They're so animated. We definitely miss Riley. Um, but yeah, they'll go after your earrings. They're yeah, oh man, they're great. Ooh, Holly says, I need lessons and suggestions to help me start an art channel, going with Zoom or YouTube. Do you teach any of those training for using technology? I'm happy to hop on a call and show you how to use Zoom, how to upload to like Creator Studio on YouTube. Um, Also happy to show you how to use Canva. Canva is a very awesome tool. There is a paid version, but there's also, you can do a lot with the free version. Um, so that it's not like at an extra cost. And I'm more than happy to hop on a call, Holly, or if other people are interested, I could just, I'm happy to set something up. Um, because yeah, spread spread the lessons, everything. If you want to teach art, if you're interested in any other types of things, like definitely start like a channel, and do this kind of thing. It's great because you can talk about your passions, connect with community members. Like it's wonderful. So absolutely, I'm happy to help, Holly. Um, so definitely let me know. I'm happy to help. Rosemary says, "Oh, that her dad's family too. My Hungarian grandparents kept chickens. I was born in the Bronx. What? And my mom's side is from Queens. There you go. Yeah. When my grandmother came from Costa Rica, yep, she set up in Queens, and my father's side of the family, they set up in the Bronx. But man, it's just they're so drastically different, like the size of the family. And so it's hilarious because like the Costa Rican side is very um like lovey-dovey and like calm and like quiet and very like nature lovers, very much like nature lovers. And then my father's side of the family, um the Dominican side, it's a lot of like color and music and really big gatherings. So like my mom's side of the family, it's like much smaller gatherings with a few family members. My father's side, it's like every birthday, every holiday, every like baptism. Because my father is one of eight siblings, and each of them have at least three kids. And so yeah, and then a lot of my first cousins have kids, many of which have up to two to three at the very least. Um, so it's a very large family. And so so when you go to visit, it's like really loud and really busy, and it's like a totally different atmosphere. It's like the really calm, quiet atmosphere, and it's really loud, really, really loud atmosphere. But yeah, yes, and Holly, yes, oh, definitely. Those memories are definitely innate. Oh man, Rosemary, that you have a pair of lovebirds. Lovebirds are so amazing. I love. There are so many different types of lovebirds. Um, we never had like lovebirds as pets growing up. We had a foster once, when I was a teenager. We were taking care of it for an elderly neighbor who was he had been hospitalized for a little while, and that poor lovebird was so depressed. He was, I felt so bad. He was just he is such a sad bird, because his owner was gone. So his owner was like, "Oh no," his owner described a completely different bird, very much like Julia, very lively, very connected to him. And when he was gone, for those few weeks, that bird was so depressed. I felt so bad. And we were trying to like keep it happy, give it treats. It was not interested. It just wanted its owner back. Um, and I was like, oh man, it's such a lovely one. It was I think it was like the peach face one. Lovebirds are so beautiful. And lovebirds, yeah, they I've seen there's like a couple species, right, that have made homes like even in cacti and things like that. So they live in hollows, and I think they've been introduced to a lot of places. I think you can see lovebirds now like in Florida and like places where they aren't native. They have definitely spread that. Oh, Jackie, yeah, cool. So I'll post it up on the Facebook and ask, when guys, anybody would like to meet up for a call to talk about like how to use certain tools like Zoom, and I can also show you how to use like Calendly, Zoom. I'll show you what I use, Get Response. It's a little expensive for my mailing list, so MailChimp might be a better option. I think I might switch back. I was on MailChimp, then I switched to Get Response. And that's like but yeah, I'm happy to do a call and show. So if you want to like start doing lessons and things like that, yeah, I'd love to show you some really cool tools. Yeah. Rosemary, what a great combo of influences. Yeah, very, very odd. It's a very like a big dichotomy. It's a very different. Yes. So Rosemary says, I hear there are wild parakeets in Brooklyn. One of our lovebirds was called Julia until we got another, and now he's Julian. Yes, and that's how you know, right? Sometimes there's birds that for years you think it's a male, and only to realize it's actually a female. Um, with Julia, we were told that she was a female, but she definitely confirmed it by laying an egg. Last year she laid four eggs. We got very nervous because birds can get what is called egg bound, which means like they have trouble like pushing out the egg, and then the egg could either crack inside of them. It can cause like inflammation, sepsis. So I don't know why last year she decided I need to lay eggs. And she laid four eggs, and we were so scared because she wouldn't eat. She would settle at the bottom of her cage. Yes, I know. She would settle at the bottom of her cage and sit on her eggs, and we were like, well, if we remove them, but then we had removed the first one, and that's when she laid another one. So then the vet said, no, leave the eggs in there because she'll see they won't hatch, and so she'll lose interest. But then she laid two more, and so I was like, I don't know what to do. But then she stopped, and so yeah, that was such a weird time. I don't know why she. I hope she doesn't. Their egg for grays, their breeding season is January to March. Um, so hopefully this year she does not do that because it scares me so much when she does that. It does. I get very nervous. I don't want anything to happen to you. She's just like, um, here we go. So you could see she's watching me. Yeah, I don't want you to lay eggs this year. Can you promise that? Can you? I don't think she can promise that. No. Um, but yes, there are wild parakeets. They're called monk parakeets, but they're also called Quaker parrots. So it's the same animal. They're just two different common names. So for those that don't know, they're like a gray body with a like a gray, sorry, a green body with a gray face, um, and like an orange beak. And yeah, they are in the Bronx. They are in Brooklyn, and they are now in Queens. So you can see them. Um, they're very noisy, very, 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 very noisy. What I love about African gray parrots, is that they aren't squawkers, so they don't squawk, or make like those really loud like cockatoo like screaming or anything like that. They do make like whistles and they talk a lot. So the Greys are very talkative. She's swinging, right? Yeah. They're very talkative, and so she'll be talking up a storm, or she'll be making like whistles and like sounds like that. But she's not like screaming. Uh, Monk parakeets are screamers. They're just like ah, ah, ah. It's like so loud. Um, and so when a flock passes by, it's like super, super, super. Um, yes, she made a she copies me when I laugh. Um, yes. She also copies me when I sneeze, and she makes me sound like a foghorn. When I sneeze, she'll be like, "Meh." I'm like, I do not sound like that. But apparently, to her ears, I sound like a foghorn when I sneeze. But I would much rather this type than like the monk parakeets that are super, super loud. But they were released. The story is that they were introduced via like a shipment, had somehow like they were accidentally released, and they're originally from like I think like the tip of Argentina, so in from an area where it does snow, and so they are able to survive cold temperatures. And here, what they've done is that they set up net. They live in colonies, so they create communal nests. It looks almost like a beehive. Like they create like there's one at Greenwood Cemetery for those of you that are in New York City. Greenwood Cemetery. Uh, they built this amazing nest. So it's like the gates of the cemetery. There's like this entrance. They have like a steeple, and and what the parrots did is that they put like grasses and stuff, and they wove an entire nest, communal nest. So it has a bunch of openings down this entire steeple, and it's huge. And they built that nest there, and so people go to see them because it's huge. It's a huge nest. And so I got to go birding. Birding in cemeteries is really great. Um, and you might be like, "What?" But yes, cemeteries is a great. cemeteries are a great place if you want to do some birding. I love birding. I'm a birder. And yes, the cemeteries, it's nice and quiet. And usually, dogs aren't allowed, so they don't scare off the wildlife. And they tend to be really, really quiet, right? I know that's kind of morbid, right? But but thank you, right? Um, but yeah, it's great. I've seen some of the most amazing species in cemeteries. Once I was actually with my professor, who I was taking a birding class, and our professor Ken Chaya, um, he works at the New York Botanical Garden, and he was leading a few of us students through a walk there, and this was at the Greenwood Cemetery specifically. And as we're talking, a red-tailed hawk landed on one of the tombstones. And it was like literally like 5 feet away, maybe 5, 6 feet away. It was like right there. And this thing is huge. Like these red-tailed hawks are huge. Um, and so it was shocking. Just it just landed there, like oh hey, what's up? It's just it probably it's like it was so cool. It was so cool. I've seen so many really cool species there. Um, but yeah, they hunt the parrots. Um, and yeah, they've spread all throughout the Bronx. And they live they set up their nests too in like where the electrical transformers are, where they have like it kind of gives off heat, it radiates heat, and so they've set up nests there. But then it's dangerous because it could cause like electrocution and fires and things like that. So so it's like, yes, the wild parrots were introduced, and it is interesting to see. Um, but at the same time, like, it's terrifying for them. And I know that the ones in Greenwood Cemetery have had a problem with ravens actually raid their nests. But yeah, um, so to steal their eggs and their young, unfortunately. Yeah. I, I always think Julia probably thinks I'm like a crazy human. Um, yeah. Am I crazy? Just a little bit? A little bit. The way she, um, Holly says a lot of those birds are tropical, and parrots were brought as pets and released. Yeah. There are a bunch of them in the trees in Chicago. I hope that they're able to find their home countries. Yeah, and some birds do actually get blown off course. That is something that happens during migration. Some birds, especially when we have really harsh weather conditions, they do actually veer off course and end up in places that they shouldn't. Um, for these, like the Quaker parrots and stuff, yeah, I think they're here to stay. Especially because yeah, they're from areas where it gets snow. So they're this kind of weather pattern for them is like their home weather pattern. So they're like, yeah, this is fine. So, so I think that they are here to stay. Um, Oh, Rosemary says, yeah, I'm glad Julia's okay too. Yeah, the egg laying, I'm not looking forward to that. So I'm hoping she doesn't go into that breeding, 'cause they apparently start laying eggs at 8 years old. So when we got her, she was about 4. And so um she laid her first egg, I think it was 2020. So she was like 9 at that point, I believe. Yeah, like 9. And then she didn't lay an egg again. So we were like, oh, okay, it was like a one-time thing. And she actually laid an egg under the bed. So uh So she had this habit. Now we have like a barrier, like a platform type of bed. But before we didn't have that. It was like an open space under the bed. And so she loves to play with like little plastic balls and things like that. And so she was like playing on the floor, and sometimes she would go under the bed, like her ball would roll and she would go under the bed. And so she had this habit where she would just like run under the bed, and we would be like, Julia, where are you? And she would just make noise, like she'd go peekaboo under the bed. And so we're like, oh, okay, she's under the bed. There was nothing in under the bed that was dangerous, so we weren't worried. And then I started noticing that we would take her out and she would immediately go under the bed. She literally would climb down from her cage and she would, not even want to go on her stand. She would go right under the bed. And so I'm like, I don't know if that seems to be an interesting place for her. So she would go there. And then we just noticed we're like, we haven't seen her for a little bit. Um, but again, we weren't like thinking too much about it. We were just like, she's just playing under the bed for some reason. And it was just during that time that we got our new bed. And we were like, we have to break it down. So we started getting everything out, the mattress, and starting to take all the screws out, to take out the old frame. And and we had taken out stuff from under the bed. We have like some boxes with like winter clothes and things like that. So all of a sudden, when Brian is moving a last couple things and he starts sweeping, and I thought it was a ping pong. I thought it was a ping pong ball that because she plays with the little we get her like the little white beer pong balls, and I thought it was a ping pong ball, and no, it was an egg. And it made so much more sense. Oh, because I'm totally forgetting that before we set up she was still hanging out under the bed, and so we were telling her, "Hey, honey, we're gonna change the bed." So we were trying to get her to come out, and she ran out and she bit me. And I was like, "What in the world?" I thought she got territorial. Of like her under the bed play area. That's what I thought happened. I totally forgot that part of the story. But yeah, so as we were trying to get her out. Um, and I was like, that's so weird. Like maybe she has like her toys under there, and she decided. I was like, that was so out of character. But no, it's because she was protecting her egg. I mean, there's no male, so the egg is not viable. Um, but but when Brian was sweeping, and I just see this white thing, and I go, it's an egg. So that's why she was hanging out under the bed. She had she had laid an egg, and she was probably sitting on the egg for hours a day, and we were none the wiser. And then she never laid an egg again. And then until last year, she decided I'm gonna lay eggs, and um, I don't know what ticked her off, like what set her off, what triggered her. But I hope she doesn't lay eggs again. We definitely don't engage in for those of you who don't know, parrots they get very attached to their owners. Obviously, they're very long-lived and very intelligent animals. And sometimes they can get very confused and they can think that their owner is their mate. So when you're working with your parrots, you want to be very careful about how you play with them, how you handle them. You want to touch them from like the neck up. You don't want to touch them from the neck down. So you don't want to scratch their chest or their backs or under their wings or anywhere around their tail, because that can be taken as mating behavior, and they will literally think, oh, this is my mate. And that can trigger female birds, for instance, to start laying eggs. And for male birds, it can actually make them very aggressive. And they can even start to like attack people. So let's say you live by yourself, you have your parrot, um, and he thinks you're his wife. Then anytime if you have him out, he would attack people. So I've seen this happen. Um, there was a bird that I so during high school, I was a manager of a bird room where a bunch of it was like a sanctuary where that we had within our high school. I went to a specialized high school with an animal program, and it was like agriculture based. And yeah, we had I was the manager of that room, and we worked with rescued birds. And there was this cockatoo named Whitey, beautiful cockatoo, and he would get very attached to all the female workers. And whenever if he was out and a male, even a male worker, any male would come, he would fly and attack. So they get you got to be very, very mindful, um, because they will turn into little pit bulls. Um, Oh, and Rosemary's talking about her lovebirds don't look the same, and that they've laid many eggs and have successfully hatched one very pretty baby who looked very different from either of them. Unfortunately, it lived for just a year or two and then died. Oh, I'm so sorry. Um, I mean, I know that lovebirds can mix. So I have seen, yeah, that like the parent bird and the parent birds and the baby will look very different because they can hybridize. Um, I'm so sorry you lost it, but I know they can mix. And there's so many different types. Um, that's so odd. Yeah, they birds. That's one thing that always worries me too. Is birds are they they won't show that they're sick. They won't show that they're sick until it's too late. So they'll show once a bird starts showing signs of sickness. That's when you have to worry because that means it's very advanced. Because they will pretend that they're perfectly healthy. They will literally act like nothing is wrong. And then yes, when, when you finally do realize like, oh no, like, this bird is sick, it means it's very, very advanced, at that point. Um, and yes, this is how I am with Julia. Like, sometimes I work in here, and if she's making noise, I'll respond to her, and she'll just keep going with me. We'll just go back and forth like we're having a conversation. But yeah, I just love it because it's an interaction for her, and so she gets very excited. Yes, Holly. The way that yeah, she does a lot of head tilt. Oh, thank you, Rosemary. Rosemary posted a picture of the steeple for let me see if I can let me pull it up. Here we go. Yes, this is the steeple in Greenwood Cemetery. So they have built this communal nest there, and so you can see they have a green body with that like gray cheeks, gray chest. And they do get that blue on the tips of their wings. They are a very beautiful parrot or parakeet, depending on the common name you're using. So again, it's monk parakeet or Quaker parrot. So yeah, they are very beautiful and they can be very loving birds. They're very long-lived birds as well. Um, and but to see them like living like very like wild, yes, seeing them living very wild, like this, it's very interesting. Um, yeah, they have like monk parakeets. Here we go. I mean, they're adorable. They are seriously adorable parrots. See here. Yeah. Like they're beautiful. They are absolutely beautiful, but very, very loud. Very, very loud. Oh, here we go. You can see, yeah. So they've been coming into Queens, and we're here in Astoria. and we've been seeing a lot of them. So you hear them before you see them. So, um, yeah, they it's shocking. See, that's so that that sound she makes if I ever like blow my nose or anything like that, she makes that sound, and I'm like, I don't sound like that, Julia. She does it exactly. When I Julia is makes fun of me. You're making fun of me. She just looks at me. But yeah, she's great. It definitely makes days so much funner. So much more fun. Holly, yes, death gets a bad rap from humans. It's an inevitable part of life. It used to be celebrated for many common reasons, not to minimize grief through just a normal event. Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, it definitely does. It is inevitable. Yes, Julie. Um, yeah. I mean, I definitely I'm a dark humor type type of person, but but no, you're right. Um, it is inevitable, unfortunately. Um, are grays cavity nesters? I believe they are. Yes, I believe they are. And so I'm in like a gray African gray parrot group, and yeah, we've always been reminded like people always say like don't put things like don't let them play with boxes or give them like a little cave or anything like that, which I didn't realize that the bed under the bed is basically the same thing. It never occurred to me. Um, but yeah, not to give them little things because then that could prompt nesting behavior. Um, but uh, yeah, like I believe that they are cavity nesters. I don't think they build. Um, Holly says that Julia knows that I'm talking about her. And why do some parrots and cockatoos start talking really loud when we have or are talking to visitors? Oh yeah. So I had a cockatoo when I was growing up. I loved her name was Marshmallow, a white, beautiful white cockatoo. Um, but yeah, some parrots, it's like a mimicking behavior. So they see that you're communicating, that you're talking, and so they want to be in the part of the conversation. They want to talk. So they hear you that you're communicating. So they do the same thing. Also sometimes for attention. So if you are paying attention to another person, like a guest, they will yes, Suzanne, exactly, that they get jealous. They get very jealous and they want to be the center of attention. So they don't want your attention elsewhere. And so Marshmallow was very jealous bird. Marshmallow got to the point where we had her for many years. I had her since she was a baby, like literally hand fed her. So I was very, very close to her. But then my parents, she got to the point where when I would go to school, she would just she just started screaming all day. And so she could be heard 2 blocks away. That's how loud she was. Um, and so we've always had birds. Like even when I was born, my mom had parakeets and canaries. Like we've always had birds in our house. We've never had less than one bird, so we've always had birds in our house growing up. And it was yeah, it was really sad. That was really hard. We gave it to a family. We gave Marshmallow to a family friend when I was a teenager, and that sucked. We lost contact, so I hope that she is happy and healthy. But yeah, birds. Oh man, they can absolutely get jealous. Absolutely, like Julia. Julia's in love with Brian. Um, she and I have a very nice friendship. And so she hangs out with me, she gives me kisses. She'll steal my food. She'll hang out with me and be totally fine. But I am not here when Brian is in the room. She forgets that I exist. She goes right up to Brian. She does a lot of like baby behavior with Brian. She like shakes her wings, and she gets very cuddly with Brian. And Brian can pick her up and put her upside down. He can do make her do tricks. She won't do that for me. So I think I'm just her friend, and Brian apparently is her person. Like he's her person. She forged the bond, and Brian was like, "What's happening?" And she's just and when we first got Julia, when we first rescued her, she didn't have a cage. Um, so she was actually loose. We had her loose for many years. And so, but it got to a point where Brian couldn't handle it because she would sleep. She would come to sleep at the like on the headboard. She would like literally perch. And in the morning, she would climb onto Brian and she would very lightly start to like preen. So preen is like when they're like grooming. So she'd start to preen his eyelashes or his eyebrows. So she'd very lightly start grabbing his eyebrow hairs, like with her beak, very, very lightly. Um, and he would just open his eyes and there's just Julia in his face. And he was like, I can't do this. 'Cause she would just keep doing that. And she was also biting his glasses. So he would put his glasses on the side table. And so she'd start chewing on his glasses. And Brian was like, all right. So we got her a sleeper cage. So that's what the purpose of this is a sleeper cage. Um, so at night we make sure that she is in her cage. Um, but otherwise and of course now if I'm on calls because she will fly to my shoulder and go after my headphones anytime I have them on. I don't know why. So she'll be in there, but otherwise she's out. Um, but oh man, those were hilarious times. We would just wake up and she would be in the bed because she just wanted she would just cuddle up and she'd go and sleep by Brian's head. Yeah, she she's hilarious. But we've never had a problem with her in terms of like trying to eat the plants. She has no interest. She has knocked over plants if she's flown. So like having the plants like up there, for instance, if she flies and then, not even touching it really, it's just like the gust. 'Cause she's a chunky bird. Um, and so yeah, she had caused like a couple of plants to fall. But she's never like gone after them, like to just go after them. So she's been she's been great. Um, yeah, she's a lot of fun. I love having her around. And she's a good companion when I'm doing plant chores, definitely. Um, but yeah, so like this is just one little corner in our bedroom, but I love having this setup, and yeah, even I have like so much plant decor in here. Oh, these I love so much. I got these a while ago, and they're these little lights. I definitely want to put them up somewhere one day, but for now they just live on our shelf. Uh, but I love these. I love these so much. They're adorable. Oh, you're out again. I don't know if it'll let me. Let's see. The hissing cockroach. Oh, here goes my stand. Hold on. Here we go. The hissing cockroach came out. If I move it, it's gonna run. It's right there. Let me see. Is it catching it? No, the camera is not catching it. The camera. Oh, maybe a little bit. There. You can see it. This shiny line is it's in there. It comes out and then as soon as I try to move it, it runs. Oh, and last thing I'll show you is that I had to prune back my I have a really big dragon fruit in here. So I have a bunch of pieces now that I have to root. Um, because it's a little it's gotten like an octopus at this point. But yeah, this is a monster. This is this is one. This is my mother dragon fruit. Um, she has so many aerial roots. She came with a lot of aerial roots when I got her, and she's just continued to put out aerial roots. So they're meant to cling to trees. So she puts out these aerial roots because that's what she wants to do. But there's nothing, and I have nothing like a stand or something that I would be able to attach her to. Um, that would work. I was thinking like a plank or something, but she's just so crazy. It just wouldn't work. Um, but yeah, I love this cactus so much. This is a species of rainforest cacti. It's an epiphytic cacti, and this is where dragon fruit comes from. She's absolutely crazy. Like I had to prune her back because it's so difficult to maneuver her because she's going in all different directions. She's just like this huge plant. Um, and so yeah, I love it. I love dragon fruit so much, but now I have a bunch of cuttings and I have it rooting like all over the bedroom. Um, oh yes, what does epiphytic mean? That's a great question. So epiphytic is so there are plants that are called like hemiepiphytic. Um, and so basically it means that they don't necessarily have to live their lives on the ground, like in the dirt, so that they can live basically solely on a tree. So like philodendrons are considered, I think it's hemiepiphytic, which means that they can start their life in the ground, but then they will climb up a tree, and then they'll spend the rest of their life like kind of on the tree itself, as what's it called? Kind of using the tree as scaffolding. Um, but yeah, and so there are epiphytic cacti, which means that they will literally like let's say a piece of it lands on a tree, it will use aerial roots to fasten itself on there, and then it just lives out its life. It keeps spreading and getting larger, um, and it just grows like right on the tree itself. So it doesn't need to be in soil. So when you do plant them, I have a lot of epiphytic cacti. So these tend to be all the rainforest cacti. Um, just putting it back down and trying not to bring down any plants over here. There we go. Um, but yeah, um they all want very airy soil. So you definitely if you put like or not even a soil, but a substrate. So I put like coco coir, orchid bark. I use leca, a lot of perlite, and like a little bit of succulent soil and a little bit of worm castings. Um, but otherwise the very like airy type of soil so it doesn't stay wet, and there's a lot of air exchange. Yes, and how do they get nutrition? Yes, so it's usually based on so some species they take up different types of nitrogen, um, but also it's as leaf litter basically gets stuck. So bromeliads is very similar. So as leaf litter and like bark, pieces of wood, bird poop, animal droppings from critters that are walking around the tree. So all of this starts to kind of fall in the area. So for some of these epiphytic plants, it's about around the root area. So they'll kind of get in a little crevice, and this crevice will collect things. So falling leaves and things like that. It starts to rot. It catches water as well. So that's water. It starts to break it down. And this ends up being nutrition for the plant. For some bromeliads, not all bromeliads, but some bromeliads, like they will have cups in the center that will collect water, will collect any like fallen debris, like leaves or things like that. Um, and then that is where they will get their nutrition. But yeah, it's usually like in the crevices where they stick themselves to. It starts to collect stuff, and this breaks down, and in turn becomes nutrition for them. Um, and then they just enjoy taking the rain and enjoy yeah, all that humidity. They also enjoy very much the protection of the leaves of the tree. So a lot of epiphytic species um can't handle really strong sunlight, so they usually need filtered sunlight. They need something to diffuse the sunlight, because if you put them in like full strength sunlight, let's say like a southern sun or western window, like in the evening sun, like the golden hour, um, they will burn. They will be very likely to burn, because they can't handle it. So they're kind of made for that dappled light where like the leaves kind of obscure it. So they're getting sunlight, but it's not full on. It's like filtered through the canopy. Um, so yeah, but they're great. There are so many ones. Holly, funny that Julia was pecking at Brian's eyebrows. Yeah. Yeah, no, she just wanted to uh like groom him, and so she would also like our hair. She will just like go and take your hair, even when she's on my shoulder. She'll take my hair and she'll hold it with one foot, and she'll just be like going going over it with her beak. So it was just very funny. I know it was very annoying for Brian. He was like, I can't handle this. And then of course her destroying his glasses, because she would just be, we would be asleep and she's like, hey, what's this? And so she would go to town on chewing on his glasses, which he didn't appreciate. She's great. I love Julia so much, and I love interacting with her. She's just hilarious. She's being very quiet right now, so usually she is really I think it's because the laptop is here. But she's great. We once had we used to do shows with animals. We would do educational shows, and we'd go to schools and things like that and introduce people to rescued pets, but as an opportunity for the kids to, meet some animals and learn about their stories and things. And it was like an experience educational show. And Julia was part of that show. And it was always really funny because as soon as we'd bring her out, she'd be really quiet, really silent. We'd put her on her stand and we'd be talking about other animals. We'd bring out like a bearded dragon or a tarantula or something. And that's when she would start talking. She would like start like singing, and she also mimics water, sounds of water. So she would start making water sounds, and it would be hilarious because she would never go on cue. It was when she wanted to do it, and it was always in the most inopportune times she would she would start doing that. But oh man, she's great. But yeah, but thanks so much everyone for hopping on. I'm glad I was able to introduce you to some of our critters and show you another space in the house. Um, yeah, definitely hope that you all had a really fun welcoming of the new year. I hope 2024 is really great for all of you. Let's, we've had a rough couple years, right? Hoping this one's a lot better. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for hopping on and welcoming the new year together. It was really fun to start off this way, and cool, Jackie. Thank you. And yeah, I really love being able to start off my week and now start off my year with everyone. So thank you, seriously, everyone. It's always such a joy. Um, and yeah, definitely have a rest of a great Monday and hang out and just relax before having to go back to work. I'm like, oh man, it's like the last day of vacation. Um, yes, and Suzanne, yeah, and I'll post about, yeah, if we want to do like a community call, if there's only a few of you, and maybe we can't like sync up on time, I'm happy to hop on individual calls. So, but yeah, so I can talk to you guys about some of these tools like Canva, um, also like yeah, Zoom and different like like emailing platforms and things like that. So yeah. But yeah, absolutely. So oh Holly, no, you're all good. So but yeah, so I'm happy to hop on a call and share, what I know how to use with those tools, because definitely if any of you want to teach too, hell yeah, I'm happy to show you. Maybe Julia, do you have any parting words? Nothing? She's just on her swing right now. She's just like, I'm worried about my swing right now. She's But thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, and be safe. Have a great week. And yeah, I'll see you. Yes, thank you. Happy New Year, the ecosystem. Yes, absolutely. Our apartment ecosystem. You're very, very welcome, everyone. And please stay safe, stay healthy. And yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye for now.